It's 6:30. We'll bring the meeting to order. Item is the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. There was no executive session needed tonight. There's no additional motions on the agenda. The next item, I'd like to can I get a motion to adopt the November 20th, 2025 minutes?
I'll move that. I'll second it.
No discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Yes, motion carried. Next thing I would like to do is open the public hearing for the Cold Springs Sewer District Phase 1 formation at 6:31 p.m. Can I get a motion?
I'll move it. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing is open. What I would like to explain to the public in attendance, the town engineer will do a presentation on the district. I will assist with him. We have a PDF presentation we'll have on the board. And then after that, we will entertain any questions, in favor or against. We don't hold, weight sides. Anybody can, what we ask is you come up to the microphone. You do not have to state your name or address. It would help if we had your name if it's a question that we need to answer, and it would help the town clerk, but you don't have to. And all I ask is everybody be civil. We're all up here doing the best we can, so it's a conversation, it's a discussion. And with that, we'll let the town engineer give the presentation. Do you want the cordless mic?
Yeah, if you don't mind. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming out on a cold, snowy night. So we're here to talk about the Cold Springs Sewer District Number 1. So this process was started a while ago. The CHA did a sewer study in 2024 of the whole overall Cold Springs Peninsula. In general, that study indicated that sewering the whole peninsula is possible, but the costs are very large, in the order of about $37 million to sewer the whole peninsula. So the most pragmatic approach to actually accomplish the goal of sewering the Cold Springs Peninsula is to break that up into pieces and use infill development to lower the cost for the existing residents. All of the Cold Springs Peninsula, basically anything east of Barbara Lane or east of the Abbott's Landing subdivision, is on septic systems. Many of those septic systems are very old. Most of them wouldn't meet the current design standards. The soil conditions are poor on the Cold Springs Peninsula for subsurface wastewater disposal. It's all clay soils with a high groundwater table generally, which is why most everybody over there has a fairly active sump pump. So the Lysander Town Board recently approved the Melvin Farms incentive zoning letter of intent. That project will be a big contributor to the costs associated with Cold Springs Sewer District Number 1. So there's the first phase of this project. Can you flip slides there, Kevin? So this is the overall district boundary. The project goes from the Five Quarters intersection of River Road and Hicks Road, proceeds south, includes all of the parcels of the Melvin Farms project, along Hayes Road, 2 undeveloped parcels here and here, the Amelia Park neighborhood and the Brickwalk neighborhood. This parcel here is included in the district, however, it won't be developed because it has been transferred to a nature conservancy. The Nature Conservancy has indicated that they will allow us to obtain a sewer easement to connect Brickwalk to Amelia Park and construct that portion of sewer. Next slide, Kevin. So many of the neighborhoods within the sewer district already have dry sewers. The neighborhoods that have dry sewers are Orchard Estates, which is Gloria Drive here, Amelia Park, and Brickwalk. The big reason that this district needs to move forward with construction of this pump station 1 that's being funded by the developer of Melvin Farms is that's going to be a relatively large pump station. The full build out of Melvin Farms will take, you know, the developer says 5 years. Realistically, we anticipated it'll be a 10-year project. Because this pump station is so large, because of the, it's really going to accommodate the flow from about 85% of the Cold Springs Peninsula will be tributary to the that pump station. So to avoid the waste that goes to that pump station becoming septic because of retention time, that pump station needs flow. So this is the low-hanging fruit to get flow to that pump station so that we don't have anaerobic decomposition going on and hydrogen sulfide building up in the sewers and odor problems and everything else associated with that. The other driving force here is Palmer Elementary School. Palmer Elementary School is currently on a septic system that has reached the end of its design service life. I know the school district spends quite a bit of money annually on maintaining that system because of the issues that they have with it. By the current septic system design standards, the conventional system that they have would not be allowed. They would have to put in a raised bed system, and you know it would be approaching a 7-figure project just to construct the raised bed system for the school district. So that's one of the driving factors in moving forward with this district formation at this time. Everybody in this district will be served with gravity sewers. We should not have to have any pressure sewers tributary to the pump station in what is Cold Springs Sewer District number 1. Next slide, Kevin. So, anticipated cost. I know this is kind of small. This is available on the website, but we'll do the best we can with what we have. So essentially, the Melvin Farms developer is paying or funding the construction of the pump station and the force main that will ultimately connect to the Barbara Knowles Seneca treatment plant, and the portion of gravity sewer that runs up Hayes Road to the intersection of 370 Hayes and Hicks. So they're paying for a large portion of the actual infrastructure out of pocket. They're out of pocket, the developer's out of pocket cost is estimated to be $6.42 million, or sorry, $2.64 million. The debt service associated with the district for the town is estimated to be $3.17 million. Ultimately, this is a very large project for the town of Lysander. In the 18 or so years that I've been involved in the town of Lysander, we have not undertaken a project of this scale. The biggest project that we have done is the Whispering Oaks pump station and force main in West Tennessee sewer district improvements, and that was in the line of about $1.4 million. So this is a very large project for the town of Lysander. Next slide, Kevin. So everybody's here, hey, how much is this going to cost? Bottom line is there is 681 equivalent dwelling units included in the district. A little over 500 of those are associated with the Melvin Farms project. The way the map plan and report and district is set up is that from day one, the parcels included in the Melvin Farms district will pay the number of equivalent dwelling units associated with the letter, incentive zoning letter of intent for the debt service. So essentially, the Melvin Farms project is paying about 2/3 of the overall debt service over the life of the bond. So that's another benefit to the community in that you're not paying all of the debt service, the developer's paying a large portion of the debt service. So the annual cost per EDU per home is estimated to be $267 in debt service, and the Onondaga County Water Environment Protection maintenance and treatment charge is $453 annually. So the total estimated annual cost is $720. So this is more than the New York State Comptroller's annual threshold, which is $663. So we will need to go through a comptroller audit as part of the bonding process before the project can move on to construction. We don't anticipate that's going to be a problem. And while we're going through the design and bidding process, we're still going to be chasing additional funding through the New York State Consolidated Funding application that'll come out in July. At the very least, we hope we will get a subsidized interest rate through Environmental Facilities Corporation, which should help lower costs as well. The project will include the sewer mains and sewer laterals for each home to the public road right-of-way line. Homeowners will be required to connect to the lateral that's provided for their home, and they will be required to decommission their septic tank when they do connect to the sanitary sewers. Next slide, Kevin. So anticipated project schedule. We're trying to push this forward as fast as we can for a couple of reasons. One, until this system is constructed, the Melvin Farms development can't move forward. And two, because of the issues Palmer Elementary has with their septic system, we want to get them off their septic system and avoid that expense for the school district. So the goal is to have this system constructed and operational by the end of August 2017. 2027. Going back a decade or so, but that's okay. So it's important that we move the process forward as quick as we can, because there's some steps that involve state and county review that always take a little bit of time. Nothing new is fast with New York State. So we're at this point in time, we're doing the presentation that's required, or public hearing that's required for the district formation, which is shown here as 12/4/2025. At the end of this meeting, I'm going to request that the board adopt a resolution forming the district. After the district is formed, we have to send the map plan report to the DEC and County Water Environment Protection for final review and approval. We estimated that we'll have that step approved by the middle of January 2026. Between January 2026 and the beginning of April 2026, we're going to be working through the design process at CHA. It's a pretty involved process. We'll dedicate the staff and resources needed to get it done and meet this town's goals of being able to get this, the contract drawings accepted by the town board, and then reviewed and approved by Onondaga County Water Environment Protection and the New York State DEC by sometime in the beginning of June of 26. The project we anticipate will be bid until July of 26. And the project would be awarded sometime in August of 26, with construction commencing in, around October of 26. So that really only leaves about a 10-month schedule for construction of Well, it's a really large project. So whatever contract gets it will need to commit to meeting that deadline as part of their bid. Next slide, please. Frequently asked questions. This is just a few that we didn't get a lot of feedback, honestly, after we sent the letter, but every question that was asked, I figured we would answer. So one of the questions was, will the roads be open cut for the sewer installation? To the greatest extent possible, we will try to construct all of the sewers through directional drill technology. There may be some instances where that's not possible and we do have to open cut some roads, but the intent is to try to install all the road crossings with directional drill technology.
I'm not sure I know what that means.
So boring under the road with a drill, rather than saw cutting the road, open cut excavation, put the pipe in, backfill and repave. Will residents get to vote on the proposed sewer district formation? So the town is forming this district under New York State Town Law 12A, which is sewer district formation by order of the town board. That is subject to permissive referendum. If the residents want to force a vote on the district formation, they would need to carry a petition. They would need to get 10% of the residents that voted in the last governorial election to sign the petition and present it to the town board within 30 days. And then the town board would schedule a vote for residents to vote on the district formation. How much will pipe each property owner need to install to connect to the public sewer? Well, that's a big variable. There's a lot of things that affect that. How far your house is from the road, whether your septic system is in your backyard or your front yard. There's too many variables to say exactly how long the length will be. But in general, most homes will have to install less than 100 feet of pipe. The public lateral will terminate at the public street right-of-way line, which is roughly 30 feet off of the center line of the road. I got a duplicate one there. I apologize. Next slide. What happens if your existing septic system exits your home below the elevation of the public sewer lateral? In general, we will try to place every sewer lateral at a depth that would allow for basement serviceability of the home, which should allow most homes to connect to the lateral with gravity. If for some reason, whether it be your house has a sloping backyard and your pipe comes out below your footer elevation and way below the road, some homeowners may need to install a grinder pump. The vast majority of existing homeowners, however, we anticipate will be able to connect with gravity. Will the town provide a list of approved contractors for homeowners to use? So the town in general does not recommend contractors. It's kind of a conflict of interest, free market economy. Every homeowner will need to select a contractor that suits their needs. The contractor will need to be a licensed Onondaga County plumber. How much will it cost to decommission your existing septic system? It shouldn't be any more than $2,000. Decommissioning of the septic system involves pumping the existing septic tank, and then filling it with sand. So you're talking a couple loads of sand from a hauling company, and then a few $100s to have the tank pumped. In no instances, unless you have a huge septic tank because you've got a 6-bedroom home or something, should anybody ever have to pay more than $2,000 to have their septic tank decommissioned. Will homeowners be billed by both the town and county if they do not connect to the public sewer? So the answer to that is you will not be billed by the county until you connect. However, once the public sewer is installed and available for use, every homeowner will pay the debt service portion of the sewer district, estimated at $267. Next slide, Kevin. What happens if the Melvin Farms project does not pay their tax bills? Onondaga County has a process for this. Onondaga County will make the town whole if the Melvin Farms developer does not pay his tax bill for some reason. If he doesn't pay his tax bill for 3 years, the county would seize the property and auction it. When will the homeowners receive their first sewer district tax bill? That would not be until your January 2028 tax bill comes. So you would not see any cost until you're able to actually connect the sewer. If more homes were added to the district, will our tax bills be lowered? So currently there are 2 large parcels at the south end of the district on either side of Hayes Road that are undeveloped and included in the district. As those parcels are developed, the debt service payment of every home will be reduced as more homes are built in within the district. So yes, there's a potential for your long-term debt service payment to even go down further. That's really the end of my presentation. More than willing to answer any questions anybody has. As Kevin said, come up to the mic and we'll answer any questions to the best of our abilities.
Thank you, Al. That being said, we'll open the floor for any questions, comments, suggestions, in favor, against. Feel free to come up to the microphone. We just need you to come up to the mic for the clerk to take the minutes. That's all.
Bill McManus, I live on the south end of Talliaby Road, so we're one of those ones that will have to use a pump to pump up the Talliaby, right?
Yeah, I think most of those homes in Brickwalk actually had a lateral stubbed into the basement already.
I don't know, out there, Stacy Eldridge.
Yeah, I think most of those homes, he actually ran from the street right into the house. Same thing with Amelia Park homes. All those homes had a lateral run all the way to the house.
I'll have to check on that, because otherwise I would have to have a pump it up there, right?
I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know exactly what the sewer elevations there were, but I know that sewer was designed to provide basement serviceability for the homes that were there.
All right, well, I'll check on that. So the other question is, could you repeat the part about if you don't connect to the sewer?
Sure. So if you don't connect to the sewer, the only fee you would be paying is the debt service. So that $267.
And so that would be an option. It's not, I thought it would be a mandatory thing, and if you didn't want to connect, you still have to pay the whole fee, everything.
So technically, Onondaga County Plumbing does have a law on the books that says that if public sewer becomes available, you have to connect. I've never seen them enforce that law. What they have done is force people to connect before they sell their home. So it's not something that you're immediately gonna, hey, this becomes available in September of 2027. You have to, you got 6 months to connect. It's not.
Okay.
And the debt service estimated is about $267 right now.
Right.
The $453 is what every resident currently on sewer with Onondaga County pays.
Okay. You said 500 homes going in at Melvin Farms. Is that all west of Hayes?
No, there's 54 single-family lots on the east side of Hayes.
Okay.
And currently, there's a couple of single-family lots for sale.
Right.
They're not sold already on the curve.
So what are the odds that you think that there will be a petition or a vote?
It's really up to the public. I can say that being that we have such a small attendance, and I think Kevin will back me up on this, typically when we have these public hearings for sewer districts or water districts or any kind of special district formation,
Right. Yeah,
95% of the people that come out are against it.
Right. Well, we've only got 2 out of our 14 homes that are here in Brickwalk, so I expected a couple of them to be here complaining like crazy, but they're not, so that's good news, I guess. All right, that's all I have for now. Thanks.
All right, yeah, I mean, we mailed out 156 letters to the parcels that are involved in the district. And I will say at the last Melvin Farm Incentive Zone hearing, most people were asking about the sewers, and a majority of the people were in favor of, a lot of people have waited 20, 30 years for this to occur, so some are excited to actually have the opportunity.
So what's not in there, you say $2,000 for the fill, you have to fill your septic with tank.
Correct.
But you have to, but you also said you had to get piping to the road.
Correct. So there's a whole lot of variables there. I mean, if you're relatively close to the road and you're only putting in, 50 or 60 feet of pipe, your price could be as low as $3,000. If you're, 200 feet off the road, well, your price is going to be much higher.
So potentially you're talking $5,000 probably at least.
I would say an average range would be between $3,000 and $7,000.
Right, so you talking, how many homes are affected?
Existing homes,
Other than the
about 160.
160.
Yep.
And those 160 people, I'll find out they got to shell out $7 or $8 grand. That may change their.
It's not that much though. Like I go over your drive, I have the pipe right into my basement. It's already there.
Yeah, a lot of people, like a lot of the existing developments, like your development, Amelia Park, they already have a lateral into their house, so their only plumbing connection costs are going to be internal. So it could be in the range of $1,000. It just depends on your situation.
Okay.
And those people will have the option, as Dale said, you'll have the district fee of the $267 if this comes to fruition.
Right.
And you'll have the time to decide, okay, I'm not going to be in, and maybe if we sell in the future, then, we connect.
What would be selling would be my son when he inherits it.
I will say that in general, homes with public sewers do sell at a higher cost.
Right. And I think overall, the point about, the town and it being an attractive place for people to come and live, having it all in their sewer system would be, more valuable for the whole town.
For sure.
Yeah, and this is, if you've been following the project over the summer, and last year we put the money into the sewer study for the entire peninsula, that total cost came in at 35 to 40 million. We have been chasing money unsuccessfully from the state for the last couple of years, but the low parts of Hayes Road is where we expect the significant cost because of grinder pumps. And that's where, value-wise, we're looking to try to, we're trying to get money every year from the state and, to offset these costs to the residents, but, we need to take care of the issues that are flowing into the Seneca River also.
All right, thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? It's way behind you, put your hand up.
Hi, everyone. Mike Brisson. I live on Tally Abbey Way by Bill. So you say that we're paying for the debt service burden. What about the principal? Where is that getting paid from?
That is the principal. So that's debt service, which includes interest and principal.
So when will that be gone?
30 years.
30 years? Okay, so you're going to be paying that for 30 years. And the next question I have is, what was the benefit of this, other than you said increased home values?
Well,
One environmental benefits as well. There's the benefit of, every raised bed septic system or every septic system essentially has a service life. Anticipated service life of a standard subsurface septic system is 40 years. Anticipated service life of a raised bed system is 25 years. So, your houses in Brickwalk are 15 years old or so. It's a ticking bill, quite frankly. I don't know, some of those homes over there have raised bed systems, some of them have conventional systems in Brickwalk. It's only a matter of time before you face a very large bill to replace your leach field. And that large bill will exceed what you pay in debt service. In general, will exceed what you pay in debt service over the 30-year bond.
we also have places where the town may, impose dry sewer systems.
Such as your neighborhood.
With with the understanding that we were going to eventually get sewers there, and we are 20, 30 years into that expectation for other residents.
So you mentioned two different benefits, the environmental benefits, unspecified environmental benefits, and it's a plus cost benefit for homeowners. Is that what I'm hearing correctly? Mm-hmm. And just to figure out the math on the second equation, it's what is your estimated cost on replacing a conventional septic system, you called it?
Yep, conventional septic system for an average 3-bedroom home, right around $15,000 to replace your leach field. Conventional, or for a raised bed system for a 3-bedroom home, depending on overall soil conditions, grade of the home, whether it has an existing raised bed system or not, you're going to start at around $25,000.
Material cost.
Okay,
Yeah.
so $25,000, so let's say we're paying upfront cost of $5,000 plus $1,000 per year for debt service and connection. Right now I pay about $100 a year for maintenance on septic. I pump it once every 4 years and it costs $400. So the equation on that means that I would have break-even point at, if I had to live in my house for 40 years to have a cost-benefit analysis where I am coming out in the positive.
Well, and you're not including the increased
If you
value
don't
of your
have any
home.
failures with your current system.
Well, the expected life is 40 years. So I would have to live until I'm 80.
And the increased value on your home. So typically, we see an increase in home values of 10 to 15% once public sewers become available.
Okay, so let's cross off benefit number 2, because cost benefit, that doesn't affect me. The first benefit was environmental benefits. Can you be more specific there?
So many of the septic systems on the Cold Springs Peninsula do not meet the design standards in that they are within 2 feet of the groundwater table. Septic systems that are within 2 feet of the groundwater table allow pollution to enter the groundwater table, which ultimately flows to the Seneca River.
So how do you know if yours currently polluting the Seneca River?
It really depends on it depends on each house is different. Each house is different, but that's a benefit for the entire community and region.
So I don't want to pollute the Seneca River at all, and I'm all for not polluting it, and that might go into my decision if I do connect or not. Is that something that we'd be able to find out beforehand if we're making the decision if we're going to connect or not?
That's something you'd have to talk to a design professional about your septic system, have them come out, do a test pit, and evaluate it.
Have we done any environmental review to say what percentage of the households are polluting the Seneca River from the current district that you're proposing?
We have no way of knowing that information, and no, we have not.
So we could say that 0% are currently polluting it because that's the information that we have. So that would cross off benefit number 1. What was the third benefit that we said here?
But you have to understand that this is one part of a multi-part project. And without this linchpin pump station, we will never be able to complete the rest of the parts of the Cold Spring Peninsula. So, I mean, I understand what you're saying, but without that pump station, we can't take care of what we know is a concern is Hayes Road because they're in a floodplain and they have septic systems. So obviously when it rains and that floods, we don't have to do any math to understand where the sewage is going. So we need this part to get to that part, which is also within a plan within the next few years.
And on top of that, the developer is paying a large portion of your cost.
I understand, it's about half. And then there's sometimes 550 options, so it's 2/3 what you said.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big chunk of the overall project cost.
I mean, if the district goes through, we are looking at an additional cost, and I'm not saying it's cheap and it's free. You know, it's roughly $267 a year from what our figures are currently, to have the option of connecting to a sewer system that, when most of those houses were built, that was a promise that, oh, we're going to build these dry sewers with the expectation that in the next, 10, 15 years, there's going to be houses next year, and there's going to be a sewer line coming down through here. That has never come to fruition until we have an opportunity with a large project that is going to take 2/3 of the cost of that off of the taxpayer. If you didn't have Melvin Farms, you take all of that cost, because we need a pump station. It might not be that large, but if you took Melvin Farms and put 180 houses there, we still need a fairly large pump station, because the overall plan brings most of the sewage through that to get over to the treatment. So we don't get out of the, $1.4 million pump station that's $2 million right now. So I understand it's a difficult thing to understand at this phase, but it's also something that a majority of people that are there, and those houses have changed hands since those people were promised. And we have a dry sewer system that, WEP wants to inspect, that has been there in some of those places. And then you get over to River Road, where we have a dry sewer system that we probably won't get to for another 10 or 12 years. And those people will be approaching 30 or 40 years where they've been like, oh, we were promised, sewer.
So you two said a couple more benefits here that, let me just make sure I'm understanding you correctly, so it's tough to understand. The benefit you said is for the houses lower on Hayes Road, we need to get this pump station up, and for Melvin Farms.
And your community benefits.
Me or the community? Because I was just trying to get...
Your neighborhood, the Brick Walk neighborhood benefits from this.
That's what I'm trying to understand. How?
In that the developer is paying more than 2/3 of the cost of this project to provide sewers to your home.
But what if you don't want sewers to your home?
That's your opinion. That's your opinion, and if you feel that way, you should carry a petition and force a vote.
I mean, you have that option of carrying a petition to force a vote. The other option is, if you don't want to connect and you're part of the district, you will have the $267 a year fee for the debt service. And you will always have the option of connecting if your private septic system fails.
Thank you for saying it, but don't you understand the circular logic that you just said there? The benefit of having a sewer system is having a sewer system. That's what you just said. I was trying to get a tangible benefit. You said the benefit of having a sewer system.
The tangible benefit is
There's tangible benefit is day one, your property value goes up 10 to 15%. That's your tangible benefit.
I like that one. So 10 to 15% of home value. And then one more benefit that I think that wasn't mentioned here was the Baldwinsville School District. I know you mentioned that was happening. Is Baldwinsville School District giving any of their funds towards this? Because it seems like that's a major benefit that we're now talking about, that we're paying for as a district here, but this is all of the Baldwinsville School District may be able to pitch in, rather than just the 55 members that live right there.
They will pay 14 equivalent dwelling units.
Yes, they will pay 14 units a year, because that's based on what the usage is for
Their estimated flow by 10 states.
And then the school district, this isn't cheap for the school district. Mr. DeBarbery's here. I don't know if they
look when I went over.
Right. Well, I don't know if they've run the numbers, but I know if they had to replace the septic system that's there with a raised bed, because there's a couple issues there. Like Gail said, that was bordering on, $7 to $10 million, I think.
No, the seven-figure, it was pushing a seven-figure project, so pushing $1 million.
So that would have been borne by, 60% of Lysander if you're going to think about school taxes. So that would have been everybody in Lysander paying for that. Now, so they can pay for what's on their property, so we'll all pay that in school taxes for them to reinvent how they bring their sewer over to Hicks Road instead of flowing toward River Road to get into the septic system, or to the sewer system. But they can't pay for the pipes. If their system failed tomorrow, they'd have to come to the town and ask us to create a sewer district to get that sewage somewhere. And the town would have to create that in whatever way we went from Palmer And, previously, when we talked about Melvin Farms, and part of that was, if we went toward timber bakes, is there capacity possibly, but then you're hitting very few units that would also be added into that district. And that district cost was, I think,
Thousands of dollars per home.
Thousands of dollars compared to $267, or $700 with your web fee in your taxes. So, the benefit to the school district is also a benefit to the taxpayers of the school district.
And I can say too that in 2021, the district put up a proposal, a capital project for about $1 million set aside for the work to connect Palmer when the initial conversations were taking place with regard to Melvin Farm and other projects. We have funding still available within the projects that have been approved by the district to cover that portion. So with our debt service and our annual budget and our capital projects with our reserves, we have the funding available to make the connection happen.
Right, but I believe your question was, would the school be able to pay for piping that, off of their property? And that wouldn't be possible. They can only pay for their part of the project and on their property. If the pipes ran on the town roads, we have to create the sewer district.
So if Palmer has to put in a raised bed septic system at 7 figures, where is that funding and money coming from? The public.
It would also come from the capital projects.
Yeah, they would apply to the state for.
So we all end up paying for that.
Correct. Either way.
Instead of 55 households, there's 2,500 households paying for it. So it's spread out.
It's spread out a lot
That's
more.
still a lot of money on your taxes. Add more to your tax bill. Go up into 10, maybe double your taxes again.
Okay, thank you for everyone's time. Take my phone with me.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Mr. Chambers?
First, I'd like to thank the board for their leadership on this issue. I've been a resident for 40 years, as many of you know, and as I shared with Kevin, and especially I'd like to thank you, Kevin, because you're really pulled this all together.
Oh, I don't think I did much.
Well,
I just happened to be here at the time.
You're making it
Guy
happen.
in the seat.
You're making it happen, so thank you. And thank Al for all the support and information he's providing. I think this is, I'm fortunate. I live on Camerodale Road. We have 19 homes on Camerodale Road. And we have, of those 19 homeowners, 12 of us are probably 65 years old plus. And I am 100% in supportive of this project. I'm a retired CPA, and Tiffany and Joe could attest. I have a lot of time on my hands, and I was skeptical at one point.
Definitely. I remember you coming in over the summer saying, I'm going to pass a petition.
Yeah. Well, I didn't.
We want to remember the
I
conversation.
didn't understand the numbers and the incentive of Melvin Farms.
Right. You had genuine concerns
And-
about the unit fees and how that would be.
Yes, I was, the biggest answer, the question that you answered and you put up on the board for me, thank you. And Joe, those are mostly my questions that were on the board. But was that the county is going to pay for it if Landmark, for whatever reason, doesn't make it?
Correct. The way the taxes was, for people to understand, when we put the county and town taxes out in January, the county makes everyone whole. So the fire departments, the fire district fees, all of that, when we collect taxes, once we get to the made whole number, we cut those checks, the tax receiver cuts the checks to the appropriate districts and then to the town, and then the county's the last one to be paid. That is why the unpaid taxes go to the county. It's a lot easier process than having 4 or 5 municipalities trying to take a piece of a parcel or a property at a tax collection.
So as you're aware, and as I said, I've been there 40 years. My street, most of us have been here there 40 years. The homes, some are 45 years old, some are 35 years old. we're on the edge. So go fast and get it done. And we're
You
really.
even showed me, you sent a copy of your deed, which stated you'd be in support of sewers, if they, which was a crazy part to be in the deed.
I mean, my home was built in 1981, and it's in the deed, and it's in the deed for all the homes, that if a sewer district is formed, we must support it.
Right.
And Mr. Hicks,
I don't know if they'd hold up in court, but you guys think I'm an attorney, but maybe that changed your mind. No, I'm just kidding.
but it's in the deed. The numbers really make sense, and if you look at the cost of the $3,170,000 divided by the 641, is it EDUs?
681, yeah.
681, it's $4,546 is my cost to be for that. That's a steal. That's a steal. And that's not hooking up from my house, but the cost of the whole project, my share of it, everyone's share of it. And
Yeah, obviously, there's interest on that over 30 years, but
right,
it's
but if today, if you ask me for a check, that's what the check would be for. And I think it's a great program. Kevin, I do think that perhaps for some people, although this is a fairly well-off district when you look at the home values, but I think that if you talk to some of your local financial institutions, they would be more than willing to come up with a plan to finance a home improvement loan for the connection costs, because not everybody has $6,000 sitting around, and I think they'd be more than happy to get an opportunity to solicit someone's business and make presentations for those people who might need that financing.
Right.
And you can work with them.
And as Alan pointed out, the district has created, the county has not held anyone to task on making it mandatory on going in. So you have a smaller upfront fee. You would not pay the WEP fee of $453 or whatever that WEP fee is at creation until you connect.
Right. So thank the board. Thank you, Kevin. Thanks, Al. And I'm sure there's going to be, this is a big project.
Yes.
This is a big project for the town of Lysander. And
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, sewer-wise, the West Genesee extension was, like Gail said, about 1.4 million. And that was where we got a cease and desist from New York State DEC, which then opened up funding to offset some of the costs on that for the grinder pumps and the below elevation and the sewage that was going into the river.
yeah, and you know, this is one resident who thinks that I agree with you that hopefully you can get funding for some of those residents whose homes are down by the river.
And we're not, once this project will be a lot easier to attain state funding, Dale and I believe,
Once it's up.
from what we've been told the last 2 years, once it's
Sure.
physically moving along.
Yes.
So
thank you.
we're going to work to keep that.
And I will mention from the financial side, I was an auditor, not a tax guy, so I don't really know much about income taxes, but I think depending on your individual circumstances, starting, I think it's next year, the $10,000 limit for itemized deductions that relate to, it will be easier to deduct your income tax bill. So your income tax, your property tax bill, I'm not going to tell you if it's deductible, the $267 and the weed bill, but I think it's a question you could ask someone or look it up yourself. So the government's subsidizing part of that if you itemize. And it's going to be easier to itemize, at least whenever the big, beautiful bill becomes effective. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak to that?
I was just gonna, if we're done, I was just going to say thank you too on behalf of the district. I know it's been a lot of work on your part, meetings over several years, and we appreciate you moving forward with the Melbourne Farm project to make this happen. I also want to say that I know, Kevin, we've worked closely with letters of support and for grant funding, and we're going to absolutely stand by that, and we'll be happy to continue to do that to move forward any other project or this project to help reduce that cost as well. So please just keep me posted, and we'll do what we can on behalf of the district.
Great, thank you.
Hey, good evening, Jerry McComber from Gloria Drive. So we moved to Gloria Drive in 2005. Again, the promise of the dry sewer being connected within 5 years, according to the builder back in the day. Of course, here we are 20 years later, that has not happened. But understand everybody's concerns. Just like to say I'm in support of the project. I worry about catastrophic failures to the raised bed septic system, collapse of the concrete tank, and the costs associated with that. The $30,000 to $40,000 range potentially. A few technical questions. So from Gloria Drive to 370, it's uphill. How do you overcome that with a gravity sewer?
You make the gravity sewer deeper in the ground to get through that crest vertical. So as we're going through that crest vertical curve on Hicks Road, the sewer will be approximately 17 feet in the ground.
Okay. All right. And then, do you need to obtain a permit, I would say, to connect your home to?
Yes, you will need to have a licensed plumber pull a plumbing permit to be able to connect.
All right, so that's the mechanism then that tells the county to bill you the $453.
Correct.
In your tax bills. Okay. And then, is the Seneca Knolls treatment plant able to handle all this inflow with any additional upgrades?
At this time, the county has given us a capacity assurance letter that they can handle the flow from the proposed district.
Okay. And then this doesn't impact me because I'm roughed in from my basement all the way to the street. But for the houses on Gloria that are on Camerondale that are not roughed in, is the town going up to the basement wall or just?
No, we can only pay for improvements in public right-of-way.
Okay.
So we can only go to the right-of-way line, which is about 30 feet off of the center line of the road.
Okay. No, thanks for everybody's work on this. Hope to see it happen and support.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing no other comments, I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing at 7:22 p.m.
I'll move it. Second it.
I'm sorry, discussion. Did the board, I apologize, did the board have anything that they would like to add before we close it? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Aye. Oh, yes. Public hearing is closed. Next up on the agenda, citizens' comments. Are there any citizens wishing to make a comment tonight? Oh, boy. Mr. Chambers, that's a good idea to leave. It's my mother.
Well, I guess I thought I didn't have to say my name. Told everybody what it was.
Yeah, they know.
Almost 2 years ago, I came up here, and we were going around on a vacant board seat, as you'll all remember. And at that point, I said, I saw 4 intelligent adult men sitting up here that could do this town's business. And I just want the board of you to know that you certainly have done it. And you've had to do it shorthanded for 2 years. Thought maybe only 1, but it ended up being 2 years. I'm sure behind the scenes it probably wasn't always easy, but it just goes to show you that people from different parties, different areas, different political things can work together and make a town what it should be and do the things for the town that it should be. So I just wanted to thank all of you for not making a liar out of me and doing the town's business, and that you've done, in my opinion, a very good job for being shorthanded for the last 2 years. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak tonight? Seeing no comments, we'll go to town board comments. Councilor Moore, start with you.
Okay, I would like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Thank you for watching. Winter seems to have come a little early this year. I don't know if it's going to end early, Kevin. I know my shovel's going away in March.
Don't put your shovel away.
I know that I will. So everyone, enjoy the holiday season, drive safe out there, and again, thank you for coming.
I really appreciated the comments, at the public hearing for the sewer district. That was, it's been a long process, and I think that's good because we took our time to make sure that we weren't doing anything rashly, and I hope it all works. I'm sure it will, but I really did appreciate the comments I heard tonight.
Yeah, I just want to thank everyone for coming out, everyone who's watching. I do echo Mr. Drossie's comments as well, too, about the public hearing. It was a long process. You're going to have some people in favor of it, some people aren't, but hopefully we, as a community, we all come together as a whole.
Okay. Supervisors' comments. I just had a few things. Mortgage tax apportionment, we got our letter from the county today. We get 2 payments, usually in July and December for the part of the mortgage tax that people pay that comes back to the town. We budgeted to receive about $500,000, which we try to be conservative because when you budget over on on revenue, it hurts you on your expense side. We came in at $628,000 for the year, which is a pretty decent year for mortgage tax revenue. The next item is we have a small clothing drive with the town of Van Buren for In My Father's Kitchen. They're looking for, cold weather stuff, hats, gloves, socks, new socks only, but hats, gloves, lightly worn, lightly used. They distribute them to homeless people and the people that also work with them. They try to get In My Father's Kitchens for the last few years. Not only work with the homeless people, they also help try to get them jobs and get them work. Next weekend, December 13th and 14th, the Village is going to have a holiday shopping. There are assorted shops and restaurants. I think it's up on Facebook. I believe it'll be in the messenger. I received a text about that. On December 15th, let me back up. Tuesday, December 9th from 6 to 9 p.m., all of the fire districts, Belgium Cold Springs, Northwest, and Cody, if you live out in the northwest part of Lysander, and Seneca River Fire Department, Hayes Road area, the bottom side of Route 370. They will have their fire district commissioner votes from Tuesday night, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. are what all the districts are doing. You go out and vote for your fire commissioners. A lot of them run unopposed. There is a contested seat over in Belgium. So if you live in the district, go down to your main fire station. They'll have a vote. It's state law is the reason it's the second Tuesday in December. That's not a choice of the fire districts. That's a state mandated time to have the election. December 15th, I will have informational meeting for people in the West Jenny Sewer Extension number 1 in the West Phoenix Sewer District. We had, after the budget, and I have these letters up on the website, when we looked at the budget this year, we had a couple issues. West Jenny Sewer Districts, over what we alluded to in the public hearing, there are grinder pumps in those areas. When the county took over the lease of our sewer systems, the grinder pumps are not included. They don't have anybody that services them. So we sent letters out after we looked as a board. It's a tough decision to make, but a sewer district has to pay their own debt. The general fund can loan funds to it throughout the year, but at the end of the year, the next tax bill has to pay for that debt. We can't continue that along. So over there, as the grinder pumps are getting to their 15-year lifespan, we need to build up a fund balance and we need to have funds to take care and replace and maintain those pumps. The average rehab of a grinder pump is in the $7,000 to $8,000 range. So I think we have about 15 of them in the district, and I think we're on the 3rd out of 15 that have failed. So we need to get those districts whole so they have a fund and build up a fund balance to take care of those repairs to keep that district fee level. The West Phoenix side of things, it's a different situation. Counties county took over maintenance of our sewer systems in 2021, 2022, I believe. And the West Phoenix Sewer District is actually not part of the Onondaga County Consolidated Sewer District, so they don't pay that $453 fee. And the county was repairing those pipes until they did an audit of their books and realized that they weren't receiving funds for that. So the 53 units over in West Phoenix will have to pay for that 3 years worth of work. And, you know, talking it over as a board and with the attorney and looking at it financially, you could do a ban, you could, you know, do short-term loans, but by the time you pay the interest and fees associated with it, you're going to throw a lot of money away that's not actually going to go to paying the debt. So letters were sent out by me to all of the district residents. There's 53 over in West Phoenix, and there were 27 in West Genesee Sewer Extension. Some people have called. I'm going to have a night here. I'll be my, you know, it'll be me. I have all the answers to the questions that people will have. I'll be here from 5:30 to 7:30 if people want to come and, you know, find out how we got here, where we're at, what we're moving forward. You know, the board, we came up with a plan to, you know, keep those districts funded, and that's the process we're going to have to play through over the next couple of years here. So that is on December 15th right here in this room from 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. We also found out that Cantonwood's tree lighting is tomorrow. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock is the tree lighting. 3 o'clock they have the village singers. There are going to be snacks, cheese and crackers. So if you and some drinks. So if you wanted to stop over to Canton Woods, it's over on Canton Street. In case you're going to play pickleball at the Wood later, you know, you can swing by. You know, it's a great thing. If you want to use Canton Woods, they lowered the age to 55 and up this year. So anybody can go over, any residents, whether they're not even, I'm looking over to Barbara Priest, her husband Charlie is the president. Chairman of the board, and has a lot to do with it. So do you have to be a resident of the towns?
You do not have to be a resident of the town. If you are a resident of the towns or the village, you pay nothing as a membership. Otherwise, you pay a membership if you're out of the town. And if you want the newsletter sent to you by mail, you pay a small fee also because of the cost associated with that.
Yes, but they run a lot of different programs. It's very helpful. The town gives money. The town of Greenberg gives money. The village of Baldwinsville assists with running it. It is a very great thing to have. I'd say we're probably one of the top-notch senior centers in the county.
We are.
We've been sort of the leader of senior centers. So if you have any opportunity, if you have parents that are older or, you know, want to attend, like myself, I try to get them over there from time to time, but I'm joking. But I have aunts that live literally next door. You know, go over and use it. It's a great asset for the community. That is all I have.
A lot of exercise programs, which is important.
Yes, they have Wii Bowl. They still have the Wii Bowling too. Yep. So on to department head reports. Town attorney.
Nothing at this time.
Parks director.
I just wanted to say that even though Lysander Park is closed for the winter, we keep the gate open. As far as closed, what that means is it's unstaffed and there's no bathrooms available. But the gate remains open.
We plow it. We usually try to get through and
parking lot
through the park.
is plowed. We do have an employee who works at the park over the summer who comes over after plowing the roads to just make sure that the parking lot's cleaned up better than the highway plow going through, although the highway plow does go through and plow the lot. And then we keep the trail plowed. So, you know, the park is still open for those who want to walk, run, walk their dog, as long as their dog is on a leash. Kids to play in the playground. The occasional pickleball players at time who want to still play pickleball outside. We do have a system in place for that to happen. Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Yep. Town engineer.
I'm speaking kind of for the highway superintendent, but we did get Mariner Trail paved yesterday. It was a stretch, but we got across the finish line to get that paved and make it safe for travelers in the wintertime. That kind of works. That was the end of our road construction work for the season, finally.
And could you give a brief synopsis of Mariner Trail? It's not completed, but it's winter worthy.
Yeah, so project was delayed, waiting for storm catch basins. The contractor that we had doing the pipeline work under the county contract was delayed because he was backed up with aqua work that all got released late in the summer. When he finally got there, we thought we were going to be fine. Unfortunately, we ran into some very difficult soil conditions in running saturated sand at a depth of about 4 feet that really slowed down the pipeline installation. And, normal year, a couple weeks after Thanksgiving is, you can get away with paving most of the time.
I can't believe you did it yesterday.
This year didn't work out so good. There are some areas that I'm a little concerned with that we may have to cut out in the spring and rebinder, but they're going to be minimal, less than 5-10% of the road we'll have to do binder repairs on, I estimate, but we needed to get it paved so we could plow it safely. The residents were great. Everybody was super cooperative. The only day we got any complaints was when the contractor was working the day before Thanksgiving and we had to take advantage of the weather. Well, we had the weather, quite honestly. So, but we crossed the finish line.
And we will be back there in the spring to.
If we get a thaw in the middle of the winter, I know the highway department will be back over there to try to do some additional cleanup work. So,
thank you. Town clerk.
All set tonight, thank you.
Okay. Now we'll go on to our regular agenda items. Motion A, can I get a motion to approve the Cold Spring Sewer District Phase 1 formation?
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
Discussion. So we had the public hearing tonight. I know we normally don't vote the same night of a public hearing, but to move the timeline and process along to hit that end of 27 timeline, we want to start this process. As was said, it could go to a permissive referendum if people choose to carry a petition. But to start our process and start that timeline, we are putting this on the motion to hold a vote tonight. Does anyone else have any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All yes. Motion carried. Motion B. I'd like to get a motion to hold a public hearing on December 18th, 2025 at 6:30 p.m. in the Lysander Town Hall auditorium to consider the adoption of a local law amending Chapter 295 entitled Vehicles and Traffic relative to the installation of 2 traffic stop signs on Tall Tree Lane at the intersection of Forest Ridge for traffic traveling east and west on Tall Tree Lane, and 2 traffic stop signs on Tall Tree Lane at Sedgegrass Road at the westernmost intersection for traffic traveling east and west. This motion shall authorize the town clerk to advertise for the same.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Discussion. These stop signs were requested by the HOA over at Timber Banks as the development moves further into Timber Banks and further toward the river. There were concerns of the traffic patterns and speed on Tall Tree Lane. So we've, the board holds the authority to place stop signs in those locations, and those are the 2 locations we feel will assist the most with that issue. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All yes. Motion carried. Motion C. I'd like to get a motion to authorize the town supervisor to sign the Veteran Outreach Intermunicipal Agreement with the town of Van Buren for 2026. Sorry about the typo there.
I'll move it.
Councilor Moore, and then we'll do Councilor Kuderakis for the second. Discussion. We had an IMA with the town of Van Buren for 2025. We had Jim Reynolds, he took another job, so he resigned from the position. We have Harvey Sellers, who has taken up the mantle at the end of November, beginning of December here, and is moving along nicely with it. The whole purpose of this is to help the veterans in both the towns, obviously in the village of Baldwinsville, because it's part of the towns, to get them any needs, anything they can, benefits they might not possibly realize they have. We budgeted 15 hours a week. It's not a large dollar amount. I believe it's $17 an hour. Harvey is a Navy veteran, was in the Navy for 6 years. So he understands a lot of the ins and outs of that process. So he will be working with now other veteran outreach coordinators in the county and also with the county in that regard. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All yes, motion carried. Motion D, I'd like to get a motion to authorize the town supervisor to sign the flat camera contract.
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Discussion. This has been on the agenda for a few months now. We had looked at it in the budget time. Obviously, if people have been paying attention to the news and Syracuse.com, the city of Syracuse and other places that have had contracts with flat camera have decided to end them or modify them with a lot of privacy concerns. We have this on the agenda tonight. I am going to assume it's going to get voted down so we can put this to bed so we don't keep bringing it up and move forward. There was an idea to use the license plate readers to assist with, burglaries and other issues, but the privacy concerns and where that data is going after it leaves the town has been a big concern of not just us before we sign a contract, but other people who have already signed contracts. All in favor? All opposed?
Aye.
Aye. All four were opposed, just for the record. Seeing no other items on the agenda, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:41 p.m.?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. Have a good evening, everybody.